Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Get ready to experience the truth. Welcome to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Truth Talk Radio is the hit show that will illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. Unleash your intuitive nature while Deb helps you stop looking outside yourself for value and happiness, break through patterns, and move into your authentic truth at lightning speed. Truth Talk Radio will leave you feeling lighter, help you live with more presence, passion, and clarity, and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Now here's your host, Deb Acker.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deb Acker, and you are listening to Truth Talk on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with me for the next hour as I help you experience the truth, nothing but the truth. Every first and third Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll have some of the most gifted, inspiring, and unique souls, speakers, and authors helping to move you into more light, love, and, of course, truth. And before we get started, I'd like to start out today's show with an intention. And my intention for today's show is that everyone that needs to hear this conversation hears it, and that you leave feeling expansive, inspired, lit up, and open to the messages, wonder, and surrender that wants to come through. And with that, I'd like to introduce today's guest, Kate Evans. Kate is the author of Call It Wonder, an Odyssey of Love, Sex, Spirit, and Travel, which is an award-winning memoir about chucking it all to live on the road, having a brain tumor, talking to dead people, and loving both men and women. She is also the author of 2 novels, a collection of poems, and a book about teaching. As an editor, ghostwriter, and writing coach, she loves helping people unleash and shape their stories. A nomad with a home in Baja California, Sur, Mexico, she currently lives in China and teaches at Gongsi University. And so with that, I'd like to welcome Kate to the show. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, Deb. I'm excellent. How are you?
Great. I'm excited to have you here today, and I was reading through your book, and it's really, really well written and really entertaining and just really fascinating and interesting. How did you get on this journey? How did you get on this path?
Which path? Which journey? No, many. There are many, right?
So many, right? I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as far as what comes to mind are actually 2 answers to that question. One is the writing journey and one is the life journey. Of course, they're interconnected. And as I was writing the book, actually, I was very aware that it felt like at the time that I was writing it, that sort of everything was coming together. It was like one of those, divine rendezvous, right? Where everything I'd ever lived, because it is a memoir, was coming together somehow on the page. And every day that I wrote, I just felt that experience building and building and building. And in fact, one of the things that I use with my writing coaching clients is something that I started when I started writing this book, because I've been writing my whole life. I've been writing ever since I was a little girl. I always loved to read. And I began reading when I was 4 years old, and I've always loved to write. And as you mentioned in your wonderful introduction, thank you for that. I have published, many books, but this one felt somehow special. It felt like a culmination of everything I'd lived and experienced up to that moment. And I wanted to have it be an inspired writing experience. So every day before I wrote, I sat at my computer and I did what I called a meditative pep talk, where before I even put my fingers on the keys, I closed my eyes, I took a couple of deep breaths, and I reminded myself that I was doing this because I wanted to do it, because I love it, and that it could be an adventure and that it could be fun. And I did this because I'd been feeling some resistance about writing. I know many of us who write often feel like we have writer's block or we get anxious or whatever it is. And I just found that simple little act of being present and reminding myself that I could think in a way that benefited me, that sometimes it felt hard, but that's how adventures feel, right? And that meant that the writing just flowed, and it was an incredible experience. And I ended up writing this, it's a pretty long book. I ended up writing it, the first draft, in about 4.5 months, writing every day, just every day for about 2 to 4 hours. But there was something about that meditative pep talk and getting my mind in the right space that just let it flow.
That's beautiful. What comes up for me as you say that is just really around, whether it's starting writing or whatever you're starting, whether it's starting just your day, like what a great intention, to start, really, to get in that presence, right? I mean, so many times too, where we move from obligation energy, or like, it's like, oh, I have to do this. So like if, in writing your book, that was like the energy that you were going into, I could definitely see where that would feel like heavy and not fun. And like you said, it's supposed to be something that's fun and that's exciting and, that's like pulling you in. So absolutely. I think that's really, really, beautiful. So you mentioned that there was like 2 ways to go with that question. And I know you went down the writing writing way. So
Yes.
how do you think, what do you think, you said you've been writing obviously since you were a little girl, like what do you think drew you to writing?
There was something about reading, I think, initially that made me feel like I was tapping into the truths of other people's lives way beyond what people tended to talk about on the surface, right? In your day-to-day interactions. So I began to feel like I knew the characters in the books I was reading more than I really knew the people in my life. And that was so amazing. And it drew me because I thought, wow, you know what? Every single person I meet has this whole world underneath the surface. And books allow us to see what that is and to experience what that really is. So there was something about how people do this living thing that I found in books, and somehow I felt compelled to try to express that in words myself, what the mind does, the body, the spirit. And so I think that, I think that's what drew me to writing. And I loved stories ever since I was a little kid. I loved stories. There was something about someone telling a story that helped me gain some new insight into life. So I think that's really what it is. I loved books. I loved stories. And so I just felt then inspired to do the same thing myself. And I wrote, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, this may sound strange since I was a white suburban girl, but when I read the Diary of Anne Frank as a girl, I was so moved and thought, wow, I want to start writing a journal and trying to capture my days as well.
How old were you when you read that?
Maybe 4th or 5th grade. So wow. 10 or 11, something like that. And I'm not even sure if I actually read the whole book. I think we might have read a different version of it or something. And I think that we had a school play too. So.
No, it's interesting how even just these things that, may quote unquote seem insignificant at the time can really pull us, can really call to us, can really open us. One of the things that's really connected to what you're talking about that you write about in the book, and I believe it was with regards to your relationship with Emily, was around, I didn't care about easier or harder. I just wanted authentic. It was like that really, like, I'm all about like truth and being real too. I know there's so many models, even in the coaching world, around models around being perfect and this perfectionism and seeking this unrealistic thing that's not even like, that doesn't even feel good. And it's like authenticity. I'm with you. It's like authenticity is so much juicier. It's so much more beautiful and real, and that, and all, like it's like in these depths of life, like we didn't come here just for that, like just the one, one flavor, like the one flavor of life. So so I mean,
love that.
I know, like, through a lot of your experiences, you had a lot of death in your life. What do you think, going through all that, what did that teach you? What did that teach you about death? What did it teach you about how you wanted to live?
Right. Well, I didn't have any predetermined beliefs around death and dying, but my experience with knowing a number of people who have passed has just opened me up spiritually. For example, after my father died and I was deeply grieving, it was about 3 months after he had died, and I was actually sitting at my computer trying to write. And for once, I wasn't just deeply embroiled in thinking about him. And boom, I felt what felt like a download. Like there was my father right there, just right inside of me. And my fingers froze at the keyboard. And I said, whoa, hi, Dad. Basically speaking without words. It was like we were communicating without words. And I felt him right there. And basically he said to me, be happy, live your life, love your life, all is well. And every experience I've had since then that has been sort of an experience with someone that I felt it has felt like an experience with someone who has passed. It's been the same message. So I think all these experiences with death in my life have taught me to appreciate life and to not worry about this dying thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so how old were you when your dad passed?
I was actually in my early 40s. My first experience, I had a couple others, but the first major experience with it where I had a similar kind of interaction with the person who had passed was when I was about 28 and a boyfriend died. And I went to his funeral and I was sitting in the back of the church and all of a sudden I just felt him there. Actually, I sort of felt him up in the corner of the room. And same thing, he was basically telling me, don't worry about anything. He still had a sense of humor. He said, don't worry about anything. Everything's cool. This whole living and dying thing is incredible experience, and just keep living and loving your life. And again, at that point, I never would have called myself religious, spiritual, anything like that. And the experience that I had with him, it just felt as real as when you switch on the light switch and the light turns on. And you don't really know how electricity works, right? But it was the exact same kind of feeling. And I've just carried that with me, especially as I've had cumulative experiences with that. Let me back up. I think one, and I write about this in the book as well. I write about all of these in the book. Was when I was a girl, I don't know, maybe 12 years old, 10 or 12 years old. I was really upset about something and I don't even remember what it was. And I was crying on my bed and I was really, really upset. And all of a sudden I felt like someone was sitting on the bed next to me, just stroking my head with her hand. It felt like a feminine presence just stroking my head. And it was so comforting. And I thought about that over the years, off and on, whenever I felt a sadness. I never felt it as immediately as then, but it always felt like there's that something is there, somehow reassuring me that, again, everything is okay. No matter what's happening, everything is okay. May I say one other thing about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So my book opens then with the most dramatic example of this of my life, which happened 3 years ago when my husband and I had decided we were going to be nomadic and go out and live on the road. And we'd been doing this for a few months. One night I was sleeping and I woke. Well, first I was sleeping and I was in that space, in that dream space where oftentimes people will visit you. And the person who visited me was a really close friend who had died a few months prior. She was my mentor and my other mother. And she appeared to me in the dream in just beautiful, incredible feeling just washed over me. And she was telling me, don't ever be afraid of dying. This veil between the two worlds is thinner than you think. And the whole thing is really amazing. And you should never, ever be afraid of dying. And the minute she'd said that, I began to wake up from the dream and I was in the throes of what I now know was a seizure. At the time, I didn't know that, but I could feel this thing overtaking my body. Every single muscle was contracting, and I couldn't open my eyes, and I felt like I was dying, and I was terrified. And then my mentor's words came to me, "Don't ever be afraid of dying." And I just had a shift in my mind at that moment, where I shifted from being terrified into being filled with wonder about, wow, what's next? And then actually kind of excitement. Okay, here I go. What's going to happen? I'm transitioning, I'm moving into the next thing. And then to my surprise, I woke up. And then my husband took me to the ER because he had seen this seizure happen. And as it turned out, I had a brain tumor. And so I underwent a several-month experience of dealing with a brain tumor and having surgery and undergoing healing. That was, again, one of the most amazing spiritual experiences of my life. The brain tumor was actually in the left hemisphere, which is our linear hemisphere. And my right hemisphere, I think, somehow is compensating, which the right hemisphere is the holistic, intuitive, spiritual side, the emotional side, right? And I feel like it was so awake and alive that I learned so much about what it means to love life and to heal, and to, again, sort of feel those presences from the other side, who in some way are always with us energetically, I think.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk to you more about the going through cancer, but I want to actually with the death piece too. It's interesting, right? Because I've lost a lot of loved ones, and I think most of us, just to point this out, I think most of us don't realize how when something pops in many times into our mind, we tend to think it's our imagination, or it's just coming through as that it's part of us. When many times it's like you feel someone's presence, they're there, just like what you're saying, or something pops in, an awareness pops in. Many times it's because it's actually that, that person, or that, or whatever message is trying to come through. It's actually a message that you're receiving, versus just oh, I'm just imagining this. And I know when I was a kid and growing up, I had this big imagination, and I always assumed that everything that I was quote unquote thinking, that was just all part of my imagination. And now, the more intuitive I get, and being able to connect with the other side and all those pieces, I realize how intertwined it all is. It's you're thinking something, and really you're really getting the thoughts of someone who's sitting next to you, and you're thinking it yourself, or you've lost a loved one and you feel them in the room, or they're giving you a message. It's actually a message you're receiving. You're not just imagining it. And so I just wanted to point that out, because I know it's because as I've grown into my intuitive abilities and stuff, and I've always was intuitive, but it's as I stepped even further into those, being able to really realize oh my gosh, some of the things that I discounted when I was younger, or dismissed when I was younger, now it's oh wait, those are all part of this this intertwined world of the spirit world and our world, and they're all really interconnected, just as you're talking about.
Indeed, it's actually it's such a beautiful mystery in many ways, and I love that I feel like I have certain knowings about it, and there's no trying to convince another person that it's in my mind that it's real or that it's not real. I know exactly how it feels. I know exactly what it meant for me, and that's exactly what I was trying to convey in the book.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's it's each person's own. It's up to them to have their own experience of it and make up their own conclusions, and what feels right, feels true. Like you said, the knowing piece, what they know within themselves. And so, yeah, exactly. It's each person's individual experience.
Right.
And so in terms of with your brain tumor and going through that, what did you going through that experience, what did you really take away from that? How did you Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first, let me just clarify. The tumor, I was very fortunate. The tumor was benign, so I didn't have cancer, but it was a brain tumor that was embedded in my left hemisphere, and I had to go through 3.5-hour surgery for them to extract it. But at any rate, I think my biggest takeaway was to love my body, appreciate my body. And I don't think it's really even possible to heal something that you don't love. So I began to become more aware of the messages that often went on in my mind that were negative about my body, things that I berated it for, I know it's true for men, but especially for women, the society has all these expectations and demands about what women's bodies should and shouldn't be. And we internalize those over our lifetime. And I became more and more aware of them because I realized, again, I needed to really just love this body and thank this body for everything that it had done for me, with me, in order to heal. For example, so after the brain surgery, my right hand was not working very well because the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body. And I just would meditate on my right hand and thank it for all the writing it had done for me, just everything that it had ever done for me that I had just taken for granted. I thanked my digestion for working without my even having to do anything, and my lungs for breathing again without my even having to do anything, and all the thinking that my brain had done for me. And so I literally spent hours before and after the surgery in just this loving meditation over my body. And while I don't have this love thy body thing totally figured out, I do feel I've come to a new level of appreciation of it. So I think that's my biggest takeaway. Another one is that it is connected. I think I already said it, but I think it bears repeating that I don't think we can heal what we don't love. So if we're pushing against our bodies and angry at our bodies and angry about whatever experience we're going through, I think that makes healing much more difficult.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Did you notice, like, in sending love to all parts of your body and really opening that love up, did you notice like a shift in your body? Like, obviously you noticed a shift in how you felt about your body, but did you notice a shift in how it was responding to you?
Yeah, it felt like it moves with more ease, and it, so just the movement feels very soft somehow. And I think that's mainly it, not in terms of how it physically appears, but just in terms of how it feels. Absolutely. It feels more like a friend.
That's interesting, right? It's like, that's an important piece to repeat too, right? Because it's like, so how many of us, myself included at times, where it's like, we don't treat our body like it's a friend. We forget that it's like, it's hanging out with us for this lifetime and taking us on all these journeys and adventures and, and loving us and just allowing us to do all the things that we really want to be able to do in this lifetime. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Every morning that I wake up, and I feel, quote, normal, I'm just so grateful that, wow, I can open my eyes, I can stretch, I can get out of bed, I can breathe, I can do yoga. And even like, let's say I get a cold now, when I have a cold, I just try to love my body and say, okay, well, this thing came to me because perhaps I need to rest. Perhaps I need to, instead of getting, oh no, I have a cold, instead of pushing against it, it's really about just trying to ride with the waves rather than resist.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really, really beautiful. So we are going to take a quick break here. You are listening to Truth Talk. I'm your host, Deb Acker. When we return, we are going to explore more with Kate. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Dr. Bree Gibbs is a fourth-generation high priestess with the knowledge to raise your vibration in conscious creation. Offering a wide variety of services from goddess light and shamanic healing seminars to private reading sessions, Bree works with you so you too can stand in your own power. Isn't it about time you took your life into your own hands? For more information about Bree's services and products, visit silvergaia.net. That's silver, GAIA.net.
Are you anxious, worried, or insecure? Hi, I'm Dr. Friedman Schaub. I'm the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution. Join me for my next breakthrough video seminar, which starts on September 10th. This program has helped thousands of people worldwide to overcome their struggles with anxiety, and I'm certain it can also help you. If you're ready to be free again and have a stronger foundation of inner peace and confidence, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Badili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com. That's ATAANA method.com and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's atanamethod.com.
We're back on Truth Talk. I am your host, Deb Acker. My guest today is Kate Evans, and we are exploring wonder and life and love and travel and all kinds of good things. And actually, Kate, before we continue, can you give the listeners your contact information?
Sure. The best way to contact me is through my website, which is kateevanswriter.com.
Awesome. So I know the title of your book is Call It Wonder, and it's all about love, sex, spirit, and travel. And I know you're in China right now, living in China. So how did you get to this space of just basically moving into just life on the road, right? And just living from the road and not having sort of maybe that, a final destination, you're a set home per se.
Right. Well, I've always loved to travel. And as a kid, I always sort of fantasized about, I didn't have this terminology. I didn't call it a travel writer, but I fantasized about exploring the world and about writing about it. And for a variety of reasons, I ended up spending a big chunk of my life not doing that. I did go live in Japan for a year when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and I taught English there. But then I got involved in a 15-year relationship where my partner at the time didn't really like to travel very much. I kind of encouraged her to go out and explore. We did a little bit, and whenever we did, she loved it. But then afterwards, we'd kind of get ensconced back in home and wouldn't go out. And so I spent a lot of years just desiring it. And you know how that can be so productive, because then when things change, shift and change, which they have in my life, you have all that built up desire, right? And then sometimes it just blossoms and manifests. And that's exactly what happened. So after she and I divorced, I just said, okay, this is it, Kate. If this is really what you want, you have the opportunity now. And I was teaching at the time. And so I started spending my summers, traveling as much as I could. And then I met the man that I'm now married to. And it turns out that he has a nomadic spirit as well and had spent a lot of time traveling. So I decided at the university where I was teaching that I was going to take an early retirement, and he and I were going to spend time traveling. Well, what happened out of the blue was that the house that we were living in, we were renting a house, it went on the market, and we had to make a decision. Were we going to spend all of the money that we had basically investing it in the most expensive real estate on the planet in California, or were we going to do something else? And I actually talk about this at the beginning of the book, how we came to this inspired decision to live without a home for a while. So that's what we did. And I've also written articles about this, and some of this appears in the book. We found really, I think, inventive ways to do this for not very much money. We began to house sit, take care of people's houses, and have places to live for free. We would stay with friends. And so anyway, we had a variety of ways to sort of live on the road for a couple of years. And then we actually did end up buying a house, but a house in Mexico for a fraction of the cost that we would have paid for a house in California. So we have our little home base in Mexico, and we spend a few months there. And then the rest of the time we go out and take advantage of our frequent flyer miles or use our car and drive around. But then a former student of mine invited us to her wedding in Vietnam. And we said, wow, we'd really love to explore Southeast Asia. Let's go to the wedding. And right around that time, this is just another one of the interesting serendipities or universal rendezvous. What came across my radar was this job teaching in China, in Southeast China, so really close, just about 100 miles from the Vietnam border. And so I thought, wow, wouldn't that be neat? We're already going to be there. We're going to be spending a month traveling in Southeast Asia. Maybe after that, we could hop over to China and live there for a year, and I could teach. And sure enough, that's what's happened. So that's where we are now. One thing just led to another. And I really do believe that wherever you put your energy, there you are. So a few years ago, I decided I want to travel, no matter what that means. I want to go out and explore the world. And the next thing you know, the cumulative effect has led me and my husband and me to have experienced, I think at this point, 20 states in the United States and something like 6 or 8 countries. And that's how this came to be.
No, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I know so many people don't they have that call, but they don't actually go for it, right? Or follow it. What advice would you have to them for someone who's feeling called to do that, right? That's like really desiring it and wants it at some point in their life. What advice do you have for them?
Well, I think the first thing is to spend some of your thinking and emotional energy around it. Like, before I even really began to travel, I just started looking at a lot of travel magazines and just cutting out pictures of things that just felt good. It wasn't like, oh, I want to go there. Maybe I want to go there. Sometimes I didn't even know where the picture was, but it just felt good. And I just began putting it in, it's sort of like a vision board, but just began pasting them in a journal just because it felt good. And then I was reading travel blogs a lot. There are so many travelers out there in the world who travel and do it in all kinds of interesting ways. And the internet makes so many things possible. So a lot of people live on the road, and through the internet they work. And so I read a lot of travel blogs. Anyway, I'd forgotten about that little book that I put together with all the pictures and some of my thoughts about travel. And about a year later, I stumbled across it and I realized almost everything in that book had come true. almost every picture I had put in that book, I had gone to some place that looked like that or somehow represented something like that. So I think it starts with the willingness and the desire and the focus on it. And then I think there are many other like practical realities related to it. For example, having a credit card where you get frequent flyer miles when you buy your groceries, as I said, maybe joining a website. I belong to trustedhousesitters.com, where again, we had all this opportunity to stay at all these homes for free as house sitters. And I just think there's so much information out there, not getting overwhelmed with the information, but just whenever you have a free moment, just explore and have fun exploring all the possibilities and realize there's not one right way to do it. There are so many options. And I think it's possible, as I said, there are many people that travel that really have basically almost no money at all. In fact, I know a woman who I found, I think on Facebook, and we've become friends. And I actually wrote an article about her for Elephant Journal. She decided she wanted to ride her bicycle around the world. And that's what she's doing now. She's riding her bicycle around the world. She has her dog and she has her violin and she busks to make money as she goes. So, and she has this whole supportive network of people online who are following her. And so again, it just comes down to whether you want to travel or however you want to live your life. As far as we know, we have this one life. We may have others, but as far as we know, we have this one life. And I just think it's too precious to live it any other way than really following your heart.
Yeah, I've heard this quote before that it's like your dreams are there for a reason to make them come true. And it's like,
yeah.
which it's like, there's that. And then there's also too, like, if you have this big calling within you, if you have this big desire, the desire is there because it's possible, right? It's like the desire isn't there for you to get rejected and be like, no, this isn't possible. You can't do this. It's there because it's actually something that can happen if you move towards it. Like you said, you put your energy into it and you put your focus towards it and you actually go in that direction. And just from reading through your book, I know it's like you've really like lived a really just really fun, really like adventurous, you've followed your truth. You've gone out there. What would you tell your younger self? Like, what would you tell like, having where you are right now on your journey? What would you tell your younger self?
I think it would be the lyrics from a song. Don't worry about a thing because every little thing's going to be all right. That's what I'd tell my younger self, because I know I did spend a lot of time kind of wrapped up in anxiety about how things were going to, quote, turn out. And there's no, quote, turning out. Life is transformation and life is a journey. As cliche as that is, it is a journey. And so that's what I would tell my younger self, is just to chill out, have fun, and take it as it comes. And no matter what happens, everything is a learning experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like, I know even where I am on my journey, I just noticed it's like how many times I've like, quote unquote, worried about something, and it like 99.9% of the time, it never comes to fruition. There's nothing that ever happens with it. And I think even my 93, he's either 93 or 94-year-old grandpa would tell me now, he's like, yeah, there's so many times I worried about something and nothing ever, came of it.
Worry is a waste of the imagination. And so I find that if I catch myself worrying, I shift to wonder. And I think, wow, instead of worrying about this thing, what if I wonder about it and imagine all the possibilities in a really fun and exciting way? Why be dragged down with worry when you can shift it into wonder?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the quote that you start your book out with from OSHO: don't call it uncertainty, call it wonder. Don't call it insecurity, call it freedom. And I think, that is such a perfect thing, because it's like how we look at anything is the key to everything.
Absolutely. It's how we think about life is how we live life.
Exactly. So in our final segment today, what I'm going to do is do a vibration activation. And for those of you guys who are new to Truth Talk, basically what I'm going to do is I'll have you close your eyes and we're going to bring light all the way through the body. And I'm going to walk you through this step by step. So no worries. But basically I'll have you bring light into the body. And light is really the truth of who you are. It's the truth of who we came here to be. And from the work that I do with my clients, I see that it's the quickest way for us to change. And then from there, I'll have you expand that light out 5 feet, 10 feet, all the way out to the entire universe. And again, I will walk you through this step by step. And then from there, some of the things that we talked about on today's show, like with worry, right? So just seeing that worry coming out of your body. So I might say something like everywhere you're worrying, just seeing that worry coming out of the body and just breathing in light and breathing in love. I'll give you a positive alternative. If that doesn't feel aligned for you, doesn't feel right, feel free to choose another positive alternative. And so with that, I'm going to have you close your eyes. And if you are operating heavy machinery or driving, do not close your eyes. But for everybody else, go ahead and close your eyes. And just start off by taking a nice deep breath, just breathing in through your nose and just filling your belly, the sides of the body, the chest, and the legs with air. Just exhaling out. And again, just taking a nice deep breath, just breathing in through your nose and just filling your belly, the sides of the body, the chest, and the legs with air. And just exhaling out. And just connecting to the light that's 300 feet above your head. And we naturally do this when we pray. So just see, sense, or feel that light. And just allowing this liquid light to come down in through your forehead, down past your eyes so that you can see the truth. See the truth of who you are, the truth of who you came here to be, and allowing this liquid light to come down past your nose, past your ears, again, so you can hear the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be, and moving this liquid light down past your mouth and into your throat so you can speak out the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And allowing this liquid light to come across your shoulders down past your heart so you could really feel the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And moving this liquid light down into your stomach, down past your hips so you can stand, ground in, and create the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And just moving this liquid light down past your legs and out through your feet so that you can move towards the truth of who you are and the truth of who you came here to be. And just connecting into the center of the earth that feels like mother's love. It's all ooey and gooey and warm and nurturing. And just allowing this liquid light to come back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And one more time, just a liquid light shower just coming down through your face, down your neck, across your shoulders, down your torso, down your arms, down your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet. And back up through your feet, good, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And just expanding that light from above and below, and go ahead and expand that light from the center of your heart into the room that you're in. So wherever you are, see that light covering the entire room that you're in, and just allowing your body to open, expand, and breathe, and covering the entire building that you're in. Again, just allowing your body to open, expand, and breathe, and just see that light covering the entire building that you're in, wherever you are. And just allowing that liquid light to cover whatever city that you're in. Just see that light opening, expanding out, and just allowing your body to open, expand, and breathe. Just open, expanding, and breathing. Good. And allowing that liquid light to expand out past the entire country or continent that you're on, wherever you are. Just allow that liquid light to expand out past the entire country, the entire continent. Just super, super, super big. Just open, expanding, and breathing. And open, expanding, and breathing. And allowing that liquid light to expand out past the entire world. Just super, super, super big. Just open, expanding, and breathing. And open, expanding, and breathing. And allowing that liquid light to expand out past the entire universe, past all the planets, past all the galaxies, just expanding out super, super, super big. Just open, expanding, and breathing, and open, expanding, and breathing, and open, expanding, and breathing. And everywhere you are worrying, everywhere you're feeling worry in somewhere in your life, just allowing that worry just to come out of your body. And just breathing in this light, breathing in this love, breathing in this truth, and breathing in light and breathing in love and breathing in truth and breathing in light, breathing in love, breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing in love, breathing in truth. And everywhere in some way you're moving towards obligation energy as opposed to following your dreams, as opposed to following a desire, just exhaling that out of your body. And again, breathing in truth and breathing in infinite possibilities and breathing in your dreams and breathing in truth, breathing in infinite possibilities and breathing in dreams, and just breathing in truth, breathing in infinite possibilities and breathing in dreams. And everywhere you're just stopping yourself from following that desire. You're stopping yourself from traveling, from owning your own business, from adventure, from writing, whatever that looks like to you. Again, just exhaling that out of your body and breathing in infinite possibilities and breathing in light and breathing in adventure and just breathing in infinite possibilities, breathing in light, breathing in adventure, breathing in infinite possibilities, breathing in your dreams, breathing in light and breathing in adventure. And everywhere in some way you're seeking this perfectionism just versus just being present, just owning what is real, what is there, just exhaling that out of your body and breathing in that authenticity, breathing in that truth, breathing in just the realness and the deliciousness of being in that realness of life and owning that. So just breathing in that deliciousness of life and everything that life has, right? Not just the good, but just everything. And everywhere and somewhere you're taking things for granted, life for granted, your body for granted, just exhaling that out and breathing in love, breathing in self-love, breathing in light, and breathing in love, breathing in self-love, breathing in light, and breathing in love, breathing in self-love, breathing in light, breathing in love, breathing in self-love, breathing in light. And everywhere you're not loving your body, so everywhere in some way you're not fully loving your body, just exhaling that out. And again, breathing in the self-love, breathing in light, breathing in self-love, breathing in light, breathing in the perfection in the imperfection, and breathing in love, breathing in light, breathing in self-love, breathing in love, breathing in light, breathing in self-love. And everywhere that you're feeling where you're stopping yourself from really doing what you truly desire, just exhaling that out. And again, just breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing adventure, and breathing in dreams, and breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing in adventure, breathing in dreams, and breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing in adventure, and breathing in dreams. And just taking a nice deep inhale and exhale, and just holding in your heart wherever you're feeling called at this point in your life, whatever is calling you, whatever adventure is calling you, whatever dream is calling you, whatever desire is calling you. It could be something small, it could be something big. Seeing that in your hand and then putting that into your heart, knowing that if you desire it, it is absolutely meant to come to fruition. It is absolutely meant to come true. And just taking one more nice deep inhale and exhale, feeling your feet nice and flat on the floor, feeling your body wherever you are sitting. And with that, I want to thank my guest today, Kate Evans, for sharing such great information. And I want to thank you all for tuning into Truth Talk. I always love hearing from my audience. If you have a comment on the show or would like to introduce yourself, you can definitely send me a note on the contact page of my website at deboraacker.com. And there you can find out more about the work that I do and sign up for my free Living in Your Truth guide. And in 2 weeks on Truth Talk, we'll be talking with Siobhan McCauley about leading change through disruption and innovation. So in the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I'll look forward to talking with you next time.
Thank you for listening to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Tune into Truth Talk Radio every Wednesday at 3 Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com and experience the truth of who you are and who you came here to be. Each week, Deb interviews an inspiring guest and illuminates the truth to a wide range of topics, including love, life, purpose, career, consciousness, and abundance. Welcome to the world of infinite possibilities. For more information about Deb, including how to contact or work with her, visit truthtalkradioshow.com. Look forward to seeing you next week for more Truth Talk Radio.